Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. How are you all doing today? We are here tonight, for Survivor episode 7. We're going to change the thumbnail so that this doesn't look like $1 Million Secret on YouTube. I don't know if there's a better way to do this, but when I'm streaming on YouTube, it doesn't let me change the thumbnail until after I start streaming, which is, not ideal. Because it's like, hey, people are watching this stream, and now the very first thing that I'm doing on the stream, if you're watching the video back, is trying to change a thumbnail. All right. Warwick, tier 3. Thank you so much. 70 months. Massive supporter. Thank you so much, Warwick. DS, thank you for the 15th. It's Monique. Thank you for the 13th. Lori with 19. Thundercats with 24. Angela with 53 in a row. Brian with 3 months. Thanks so much. Thanks so much. We're here for some Survivor. Episode 7, as I said. The proper merge, I imagine. Nana, thank you for the 38th. Big thing for me is I remember in the next time on, they were talking a lot about Shaheen. I was just starting to feel good about him. I guess not just starting to feel, but I felt like that episode was, despite the fact that I lost Charity last week, I felt good about Shaheen's participation in it. Ryder, thank you for the 18th. And then they immediately followed it up with like, we're going to frame Shaheen. And I was like, oh, come on now. Double boot tonight. Is that known? Miss Titan, thank you for the 59th month in a row. I appreciate it. Star is starting to appear more. I just don't think she has a winner. She's getting like the late start edit, which tells me maybe she'll make it like endgame, but I have a hard time seeing the win based on the edit so far. I think Shaheen's my only real contender, but I've been surprised before and I would not be upset. Eastnick, thank you for the 61st month. It's always a double boot at this time. Ramos had it. Okay. This is around the time Rachel winner edit started. I remember not thinking Rachel was a contender, and then pretty quickly she started gathering steam and then was just like the contender, the obvious contender. But what I will say also is that like I'm paying more attention to my draft picks and their edits than anybody else. So like if Rachel had been on my team, maybe I would have seen more of her edit before. Maybe that's what's happening with Shaheen. But who knows? Who knows? The episode should be starting relatively soon here. Let me get the prediction running. Commercial by 5:12. Yes, no. There you go. Ro, thank you for the 40th. This is the episode that Rachel survived from the twist. Right. I remember that. I do. I don't think I was bought in on her winner edit at that time though. I think I was still a couple episodes behind on that. Cuz like her being her surviving the twist was like obviously she's going to play a major part in that episode. Did I see the merge tribe translated to milk? No, in what language? I mean, my top contenders right now, winner-wise, would probably be, in addition to hopefully Shaheen, Camilla, Mary, um, Kyle, I could see. I'm trying to figure out if I want to include Joe. The problem with Joe and Eva is that their story is already so compelling. Hold on, we're about to start, and we're on. There we are. And let me give you a little bit of audio for a second. Wing, thank you for the 9th month. McCherry, thank you for the 9th. C. Daly, thank you for the 44th. David's a big character. Could he be the winner, though? I don't think so. But that might just be my kind of like David as a character is, as long as he makes it decently far, is always going to be a big presence because of his physicality, and they love that. Laura, thank you for the 40th. Katie with the 61st. I appreciate it. Then you got somebody like Mitch, who's like definitely like a voice on the season, but feels hard to see as a winner right now because you don't really know like who his ally. You only knew his ally was Charity. Maybe he's been hidden because Charity was a villain, and now that Charity's gone, they'll start to like build him up. New Nye. That's milk. I need you to make me laugh. Mitch centered already. I could see Mitch having a little bit of like a Genevieve arc. Island, think of the 18th. I can think of the 32nd. Okay, I need to start thinking about who's out this episode because if there's two boots. I feel like it could be Mitch. It's great. Mitch, think of the 79th. Well, we're already talking about him as a potential boot here. I forgot. Safe footed Cedric. The handwriting was beautiful. Patty with a tier 2 for 54 months in a row. Thank you so much, Patty. I appreciate that. I need to get my lick back. I mean, the thing about changing your handwriting for a vote is that, I mean, it's better than doing nothing for sure. But the problem you face is that if somebody does recognize your handwriting, uh, then they might be like, well, where was your vote? I didn't see your handwriting anywhere. Um, but they don't always read all the votes, so you have that going for you, and you can always sort of just like claim one. That is, would be very interesting if there was like because I don't think this has ever happened, but like if there was a culture of like claiming each written vote, like, oh yeah, that third one was mine, to try to really like hone in on like who actually voted. Jess, thank you for the 26th. And yeah, thank you for the 35th in a row. Yeah, 13 is tough, especially with a bunch of them that you've never seen before. So I think in particular, this would be a really tough one to be able to track. But on those like small opening tribes, way, way harder. On top of the fact that like even if they don't recognize it, even if their handwriting isn't the thing that gives you away, there's plenty of other things that could give you away. Wow, more Mitch already. I feel like this could be like breakout or it could be boot. Shaheen as well here. I'm kind of leaning breakout. I don't know why you invest so much time in Mitch out of nowhere if he's just the boot this episode. I know they tend to like show them more, but like this is such like a resetting storyline. Mailman Mitch. I'd love for Shaheen to get on this breakout energy. Actually, I'm happy for Shaheen to not be a focus right now. Well, because I know he's probably going to be a focus later, right? With Joe and Shaheen, but they only showed Joe in the cutaway. And now we're hearing from Joe. Ooh, okay. It's a It's a no from Joe, that's why. He is a threat in challenges, but I think he's been more of a threat in group challenges than he will likely be in individual ones. Not that I think he'll be shabby or like bad in the individual ones, but he's been really good at like the throwing and the tossing and the aim and stuff. I think we've yet to see if he's super great at like the endurance. I mean, I think he did pretty well in an endurance one, right? Don't remember now, but anyway, prediction is yes, there was a commercial. Next prediction. Um, okay, how about this? How about well, okay, this is if this is a double boot episode, does that mean we're gonna get an earlier challenge? Probably not next though. Okay. Prediction will be you think we'll go to the challenge? All right, let's do it. Let's do it. Is there a challenge? That's the prediction. Any challenge, not an advantage island tasky thing. It can be reward challenge. It can be immunity challenge. We're talking, Jeff says, come on in, guys. That sort of thing. You know what I'm talking about. So if this is double boot, does that mean they're splitting them into two groups, running an endurance, last one standing on both sides as immunity? Oh. What does he say now? I forget actually. Coming in. What does he say? Come on in. Okay. Just come on in. I also forgot about that, yeah. That was such a Mitch focused start. It really does start to catapult Mitch up a bit, I think. But I would say again, it reminds me a little more of Genevieve, where like Genevieve was granted, Mitch I think was a lot more visible than Genevieve was in the early part of the season. But Genevieve was sort of hidden away to be protected while she was aligned with Rome. And then after Rome left, she started to break out. Um, and I feel like that general arc feels right for Mitch, where like Mitch is aligned with Charity for so long, and then Charity finally leaves, and he breaks out. But that's not really usually a winning edit. Editor, thank you for the 34th. Oh, this was going to be my prediction. If they were going to talk, if we were going to have the Kyle Camilla stuff about Shaheen. Oh, maybe it's not there yet. Say getting content here. Could be setting up Say's final episode. More Shaheen. Say it was pretty quiet last episode. Interesting insight from Shaheen. It feels true. Okay. The question here. Oh, he has a butt. Laura, thank you for the 49th. 47 in a row. Whoa. Teary eyed Shaheen there in that confessional. Don't love this. Oh, no, Shaheen. Damn it. Every time I feel good about a player. Wow, we are challenging. Look at that. He said, come on in. Ugh. Either the start of Shaheen win or beginning of it. This feels more like a downfall to me. I'm not going to lie. It felt good. But with 2 boots this episode, this could very, very easily be his boot. Your pre-game body weight. So the people that lost the most weight are at the most disadvantage. Okay. I have to imagine Shaheen does not win immunity because the preview about Kyle and Camilla. I'm assuming he gets put in a group with them and they feel like limited numbers, limited options. What I liked about Shaheen's content there is that, like, won't make the jury. What are the 2 colors here? Oh no, what are the colors? Purple and orange? Okay. Which color wins? Purple, orange. That is a yes. That is a yes to the challenge betters because they went to the challenge. And I even specifically said, like, I want Jeff saying come on in. And he, in fact, did say come on in. You know, we could wait for the prediction until you see the teams. That might be more fun. This is just a pure 50-50 at this point. Nah. Just picking your favorite color. All right, we'll leave it. Okay, so what I liked about Shaheen's content there was that he seemed to be the first person to like make sense of Say. Can't think of the 12th. Um, like him explaining like this is my read of Say. Say is the biggest character of the season so far. She's gotten tons of content. She has seemingly confounded most of the people that she's played with. For Shaheen to be the person that like figures her out and understands her would be massive, I think, for his edit. Um, however, I feel like they were playing some ominous music behind it, and then they went to the like, look at me, I'm on top of everything, I'm gonna win this game. Which to me implies that it might not be that he has her figured out, that he might this might be part of his hubris that he thinks he has her figured out, and that she might actually be his downfall. So we'll see. Belladonna, thank you for the 45th month. Good to bet you'd say start of the winner edit. If he stays tonight, you'd be pretty confident he's winning. I think that's. I mean, it'd be great if he stayed tonight. Who do I think is going today so far? Honestly, with the challenge being this early, I feel like there's a good chance we haven't even properly gotten to the boot storyline. But I really feel like they've set Shaheen up here. We know from the preview that he's going to be in some hot water. So I really feel like he could be an option. It could backfire on Kyle and Camilla because the preview might have been trying to trick us. I think Say is an option right now. Mitch, I think, is an option. We spent a lot of time with Mitch just for Joe to say no. What if it's Joe? Cedric, maybe. I feel like it can't be right now. They've done zero setup for Eva or Star. Even though they were two, like Eva was a big target last week, and she's been nowhere in this edit. We're back on orange. That's orange. Here's purple. All right. I'm trying to figure out. It's always tough to figure out who will actually be good at something like this because it's really so largely about grip, strength. I think Eva could be good at this. What sport does she play? Oh, she's a soccer player. Hockey. Hockey requires grip. Oh boy, Cedric. Oh, come on, Jeff. You didn't have to call it 20 seconds. I could see Mitch being good at this. A Mitch win could make some sense with his edit. Chrissy's dropping. Joe's dropping. Kyle seems to be... No, Kyle's not struggling too much. Chrissy's done. Eva looks locked in. Say's done. Wow, they're dropping fast. Camilla's done. For such an early challenge, this is going fast. Kyle does look like he's struggling a little. Mary's struggling. Mary's done. I think this is going to come down to David or Shaheen on purple. Actually, wait. No, I could be wrong there. It looks like Kyle's actually doing better than Shaheen. Nah, Shaheen's not winning this. What am I talking about? The edit telling me Shaheen's not winning this. Yeah, Shaheen's done. Ooh, is that cheating? Shaheen was just switch gripping. No, I guess it's not cheating. I think we might have talked about this already. Down goes Shaheen. Kyle saying that's a good fight. Then making sure to pipe that audio in. Oh. I feel like this could be Shaheen's episode. I don't know. Once you get to where Mitch is there's just there's nothing you can do. Using one hand is actually a great strategy. I think Joe, genuinely, Joe and David. No, Kyle's shaking out too. I'm still giving it to David here, I think. I can't see David losing this. Shaheen. Oh my god, it's only been 15 minutes. Anyway. Jeff, chill. So David's able to leverage his body weight better They're like crouching down, I don't think is actually going to do as much for you as leaning back will, like David is. Oh my god, Shaheen is a star in this episode, and it makes me so worried. By being able to let go with one hand while leaning back and essentially just rest one of your hands, it's just going to be a massive, massive advantage. Oh, not the fly. That would kill me. Eve is done. What is he doing? He's dropping. Oh, there it goes. It's actually very important that it went that way. Joe and Eva both, like Joe having immunity, Eva having the idol is huge for them. Yeah, David's like, dude, it's not happening. Yeah, yeah, I believe David. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, he's probably fronting. He's probably feeling it, but like compared to Joe, I think he is genuinely doing much better. I do see Joe shaking out too now. It's always interesting that like you'll see people start to copy the good strategies. David looks like he's starting to struggle. Playing thing with the seventh. I don't remember if we've seen people switch hands on this challenge before, but Sarah, thank you for the 15th. I oh my god. This show has become so meta. I know that like if you're trying to hang for a long time, hanging while being able to to one arm and swap, you'll be able to hang like 10 times as long as if you have to hold both hands the whole time. Ooh. Yeah. When you watch lead climbing, one of the tells that somebody's starting to tire out is when their elbows start flaring out like that. So I laughed at Dasha in the chat, not at the show. Wow, this is a tough group. This is a tough group. Every single person on purple has a big edit. I don't like this. Okay, it feels like it's gonna be Say versus Say versus Mitch on one side, and then probably like Shaheen versus Cedric on the other. Purple one. Next prediction is: does anyone find an advantage? Obviously, we had, I think it was last season, right? The advantage that saved Rachel. See if there's any advantage of any sort this time around. Okay, so on purple, options for being voted out: Shaheen, He's been set up already for a fall. We've already been shown that he's like potentially going to be framed for something, and that could, who knows what that means. I could definitely see it here. Cedric. I would say Cedric leaving without Say being there feels bad, except we did just get kind of some closure on, maybe not closure. We got a little bit of closure on the Say Cedric relationship with her like getting her lick in. But it still feels like a little bit unfinished business that he doesn't know that she voted for him, and that like maybe something might come of that. Um then you've got Kyle and Camilla, who have had a pretty pristine edit so far. They feel bulletproof. They're the ones in the edits, in the next time on, saying like we're gonna frame Shaheen, stuff like that. So this could be a surprise backfire on them, but I don't know that we've spent enough time with them in this episode for their edit to turn around that quickly, especially in a double boot scenario. I'm just not sure I see Kyle or Camilla leaving here. Laura, thank you for the 46th, 45 in a row. Thank you so much. Then on the orange side, Chrissy continues to be invisible. So it could be an easy boot like that, but I think more likely the options are going to be Mitch and Say. They're the ones we've focused. They both Mitch and Say got edits in the start of the episode about like feeling on the outs, trying to connect, and then being rejected. So that makes some sense. Who are the other options there? Joe and Eva. Joe is safe. Eva has an idol. I just don't see either one of them leaving. All right, we're back. David already calling Cedric. Here it is. I mean, I will say Kyle is starting to get that like really like he's starting to feel really focused on Shaheen. Like you don't usually see that in a winner edit, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't also kill Shaheen. Mitch and say, look at me. I'm nailing it. Funky little challenges. No to advantages. We could run it back one more time, but at this point it feels tough to set up a whole advantage. Plus tribal, plus 2 tribals. How about does Chrissy get a confessional? You got a Chrissy boot vibe? I just feel like there's no way. This is why like she hasn't even. I feel like I haven't even seen her in this episode. If you booted Chrissy, people would be like, "Wait, who is that?" Um, man, I feel like one thing that is giving me some amount of hope here is that Shaheen was not one of the people saying this is an easy Cedric vote. I feel like when you're trying to set Shaheen up for a blindside, you probably give us that confessional about like, so yeah, I agree. I think the vote is Cedric. We did not get that from him. It's not much, but it's something. But I'm definitely worried. Say and Kyle, I mean, both of them feel rough as a pre-juror. Or sorry, Say and Mitch. Um, they both feel like such big characters to be pre-jury, but I just have a hard time seeing anybody else leave. Star and Chrissy have not been in the episode. Eva and Joe are are basically immune, so it's got to be one of them. Um, I could see it being Say and Cedric leaving together, essentially. They did spend a lot of time on Mitch at the start of this episode. I just feel like, yeah, I don't know. It feels like this could be the end of Say's journey, because like, where else does Say go from here? Whereas this was like an attempted restart for Mitch, but he was shown to fail with the restart, right? So like, it's just a little bit awkward for Mitch to leave here, but it does track with how they'll like introduce somebody and give them a bunch of content on their boot episode. Ooh, I'm nervous. All right, we're back. Ooh. Oh, I don't know. I mean, ultimately, they will need Mary and David. Yeah, that works. I mean, if they can pull it off, that works. But it's a lot to do. Oof, I don't know. This is a little bold. Ah, it's very early to make this bold of a move. I mean, that confessional screamed, "Give us a scenario where you vote out Shaheen, please." But it's hard to get my hopes up. Chrissy gets a confessional. Interesting setup here that we're really honing in on strong versus weak. Come on, Star. That makes me feel like Star might make final three. This is one option. You can use it like Mitch's. You could also try to propose to Joe. Like I could use this block of vote for you, with you. We're working together. But I think his positioning in the game, that doesn't work, potentially. I think defanging yourself is better. If they were smart, they'd go Shaheen. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh. Oh boy. All right. Uh Prediction first at least will be, does Mitch use his block a vote? We could use that. We could do that, or we could just straight up ask who leaves. We could do that too. I'm because I don't think there are spoilers from what I'm so far this season. Just who's going. We could just do who's going. Who is voted out? Mitch, Say. I could just do the whole lineup here. Eva, Star, Chrissy. I guess I should put Joe just in case. Yeah. Who is voted out? I'm trying to feel like Joe does have immunity, but theoretically he could give up immunity and be voted out. So it's just to make sure the option was available in case it happens. Okay, do I think it's gonna happen? No, of course not. Better safe than sorry. Though. I had room. I feel like obviously I don't want Shaheen to go. I can't tell if like casual viewers want Shaheen to stay in the same way that I do. It feels like they've set him up to be actually kind of likable here, and that people wouldn't want him to go. He did have that moment of like, if I can do this, I think I'm going to win the game. But we also just had Camilla and Kyle talking pretty heavy confidence, and he had that moment in the at immunity when he was very funny. I feel like people probably don't want this to happen, but I'm pretty biased here. So he also, what he was saying about like, the strong players and how he is like essentially enabling them for now. Could be a thing where it's like, hey, you shouldn't have enabled them. You should have struck while you had the chance. Or it could be, comment on how the game moves forward. I think anything could happen here. Desperate, thank you for the subscription. Welcome to the Robot Army. Man, the thing that sucks about double boot is double tribal. That's unfortunate. War Club Condo. Who defines crazy with lying and cheating and stealing? Uh. Global's reading first round of votes. All right, covering the chat. I'm really bored of this tribal. Okay, here we go. I think my guess is it's Mitch. I think that's my guess. He played the block a vote. I think it's Mitch, not Say. Oh, maybe it's Say. No, next vote decides it, right? It's Say. Wow, she's pre-jury? There you go. I haven't had to type these people's names before. Okay. Next up, who is voted out? This time. Okay, what I will say is that with Say gone, it really feels like this would be Cedric. That like Cedric's story is even more finished. Whereas Shaheen feels like there's just so much left there to tell. We saw like this tiny little bit about like let's frame Shaheen, but it just feels super undercooked for a move that works. Um like you had that whole conversation with Shaheen and Say at the start of this episode. You have, I mean, it's there's still plenty of reason to think it could be Shaheen here, but All right, what do you guys think? Here, I won't put it on screen, but I'm gonna look myself. Okay. I did feel like there was a chance Say could have left last week, so it's not super surprising that she left this week. Um, I feel like they got as much out of her as they could by having her so prominent for so long. But man, I don't know. I'm actually so bummed that there's a whole tribal to sit through. this feels like this feels a little bit like an endurance competition. This is a very long finish to this episode. All right, we're back. You couldn't ask for me to be more engaged with Shaheen being in danger, and I'm still just like, can we please just please just get this over with? I don't feel great about this tribal. I'm not gonna lie. Don't feel great about it. Code's being read. All right, covering chat. This tribal edit makes me think it's Shaheen. Because they're all saying that they're doing the safe move, which makes me feel like they're not doing the safe move. If the idea is for them to fake it out and have Cedric vote, think it's Shaheen, why would they? Why would they try to make it seem like it's Cedric? They're voting. I'm so nervous. Nothing played. One Shaheen. One Cedric. Next vote. Next vote says it. That's it, right? That's it. I can't think of a scenario where that's not it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Woo! Oh boy, they really had me stressing. That's the second episode I've been so stressed about Shaheen leaving. All right. I will say, in hindsight, the fact that Shaheen survived this episode actually makes me feel pretty good about his edit. At least for now, we'll see. We'll see what comes. I feel like next episode might be important here. Ooh, all right, all right. It was pretty split here. It ultimately was Cedric. Yeah, I think overall, not the most exciting episode. I haven't been watching Why Such a Shaheen Fan. Yeah, I guess I haven't provided a lot of context for that if you haven't uh, stayed on top of it. But basically, I have three people on my draft team. One of them was Charity. One of them is Star, who I love, but is not looking great for a winner. Shaheen has been my only hope for a winner, basically since like the first episode. So if Shaheen gets voted out, then I'm out of the draft for sure, I think. Um, but yeah, I mean, overall, I would say not the best episode. I think it had a decent start, um, but the double tribal was just boring. um, I think that like again, I had extra incentive to be worried about Shaheen, whereas normally I'd probably be a bit more indifferent. And even that wasn't enough for me to be like that interested in the double boot. Um, losing Say is rough. And ultimately, these both feel like pretty safe, straightforward boots. I imagine that if you weren't as stressed as me because your draft wasn't on the line, this was even more boring as a second vote. Um, because like if it was Shaheen, here's the thing. This is what I said was what I was mentioning before. It was just undercooked. This whole plan to set Shaheen up, it wouldn't have felt satisfying to see them pull it off because there just wasn't enough time spent on it. So I don't think that you were like hoping for something to happen there. Go for Joe. David stuff. Do. All right. Preview is all about David losing it and a brief mention of targeting Joe. Um, in particular, it felt like it was focused on Kyle and Camilla being frustrated with David. The implication there for me is this whole plan to set up Shaheen. It goes through David. They might be mad at David for letting some of it leak. I think that's possible. I doubt we'd get a Joe boot here. You don't get why they kept Shaheen. I mean, my assumption would be they just weren't able to pull David. Um, when we saw David's confessional about how he was like, well, you know, there's a reason to vote out Shaheen. You know, it could go this way. There's also a reason to vote out Cedric. You know, I could go either way. Um, I commented on it at the time that it really felt to me like, you know, he was asked, like, can you run through the scenario where you do vote out Shaheen? Why would you vote out Shaheen? Why would you vote out? Like, talk through your options essentially. Um, because the way he was talking about it was so lighthearted. It was so kind of like lacking um any gravity. Um, so that's the vibe I got. Now, I mean, that didn't mean that it wasn't going to happen because you can always change your mind or my read could be off. But like, that is the read I had at that point. So my assumption would be that he didn't go along with the plan, and rightfully so. I mean, if you're David, it doesn't make sense to do it. Um, I think the idea was, and this is why I feel like the plan was undercooked in the edit. The idea is that they're saying like, oh well, Shaheen has an idol, he's hiding that from us. But that's just not enough of a reason to vote Shaheen there. I think. It's interesting. It's interesting. I think this Shaheen Kyle stuff will have to come to a head at some point. Um, I'm just really getting a sense that like Kyle does not have the winner edit. I think he's too focused on Shaheen, especially because like he's been talking about Shaheen for many episodes now and it still hasn't actually happened, which is usually not what the winner gets in their edit. Um so I'm definitely looking more at Camilla of the two of them right now. I could definitely still see Camilla. Um I think Camilla, I think Mary still has a good shot. I think Shaheen is in there. I think Joe is in there. And honestly, that might be it at this point. I think Star might be final three. I think that could track. I think Mitch might make it far. I'm not sure if he has the winner at it, but this was a decent episode for him. Actually, Mitch, I would not take Mitch out of the top spots here. Eva is possible, but I don't think super likely. I know Camilla and Mary have had quieter episodes, but like I think that's fine. I think that in the new era, having quiet episodes is fine. If anything, I think Shaheen being so visible for so long is part of what makes me think he might not be the winner. Yeah, there was a lot of talk about how strong of a player Mitch is. I think Mitch is in there. I think Mitch is in there. But Mitch is sort of a new addition, whereas for me, Shaheen, Mary, and Camilla have all been top contenders for a while. And Joe, to some degree, Joe's been up and down for me because like he got a lot of content. Like all of Joe's content is just so compelling. Does that make sense? Like everywhere you put Joe feels like you would have put it there because look at this compelling storyline. And yeah, he had an episode with no confessionals, but that was the one where he comforted Eva, right? So he had a huge presence in that episode. I don't think he needed a confessional, you know. But I mean, I do think that like the thing about Joe is that I don't see there's not a lot of strategic storyline around Joe. Um, he's like part of a thing, but we haven't really seen him have a lot of strategic agency and make like a lot of calls on his own. I guess we actually saw a little bit of it in this episode. So yeah, I don't know. And we have this. So we also have this whole thing about like weak versus strong players. And to me, the strong player honor integrity stuff feels really icky, but I don't know if that's how it comes off to the general public. Um, we definitely were shown Charity. Like Charity was supposed to be a villain for us, and she was like a liar. Shaheen is clearly on the liar side. But then you also have somebody like Star who's like, hey, I'm not here for the strong players to win. Like, I'm here for me to win. And that felt pretty compelling. And then obviously you have Camilla and Kyle on the lying side of things. Then you have like David and Joe and Eva to some degree as like the more honest players. So like honesty versus lying and strength versus weakness, I think are two big themes of the season. I'm not sure where that goes. Anyway. Bit of a slower episode, I think. Strong start, slow finish, mostly because and I'm gonna think it's even more slow because I'm not a fan of these tribals, but hopefully we start getting the ball rolling here. Last episode there was just too many challenges. This episode there were too many tribals. That's just my biggest thing. I need next episode to have a good chunky piece of everyone at the same merge beach, all strategizing and figuring out a vote. That's what I need. That's what I'm looking for. I've not watched the new jet lag yet. I'm going to do that very shortly. So, all right. Thanks again for hanging out. I will be back next week, of course, but in the meantime, I'll also be, playing some games, and doing all kinds of fun stuff. I'm also, I talked about $1 Million Secrets, which is a reality show on Netflix that I watched. That was actually very fun. Check that out. And there's tons of other coverage. Jet Lag, Tastemakers, Wheel of Time, Last of Us is coming soon. Do we have the wheel? Can we spin the wheel here? But check it all out. Lots of fun stuff. Andor's coming up as well. We're going to talk about The Pit. The Pit is going to end tomorrow night. And we're going to record a podcast about it. So check that out. The wheel is pinned. How do I see that? Do. What we're gonna do here is oh, is it pinned in here? Where is it? Here it is. Here it is. I think I found it. If it's the same one as last time. Okay. So those that bought a plushie are on the wheel. We're gonna spin it a few times, and the people that lands on will get some VIP badges. That is the plan. That is what we plan to do. The Pit is on HBO. Let me see if this works. Here it is. Let's spin it. Kathy. Number one. Hold on, let me. I'm not hearing the little ticking. I feel like we should hear ticking. Tracy. Number two. Arrow number three. Laura number four. And one more. Amy. There you go. Congratulations to the VIP badge winners. You'll have a VIP badge for the month. And then next month we'll do it again. That's how we do it. Anyway, congratulations. Thank you to those that bought the plushie. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for hanging out and watching here tonight. And I will see all of you next time.